I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Special Counsel Jack Smith just filed a scathing reply in response to Donald Trump and his co-defendant Walty Nauta's request to continue the trial date indefinitely until some date after the November 2024 election in connection with the case brought by Special Counsel Jack Smith in the Southern District of Florida arising out of Donald Trump's theft of classified records, government records, sensitive compartmented information, and specifically for the charges of willful retention of national defense information, conspiracy, making false statements, and obstruction of justice. So you'll recall the sequence here. Judge Eileen Cannon set the trial date in August pursuant to the Speedy Trial Act, but as we said here, that trial date was just a placeholder. Special Counsel Jack Smith made the request that trial in this matter be December 12th of 2023, with jury selection being on December 11th of 2023. And Special Counsel Jack Smith did that preemptively, realizing the August trial date was going to be moved and knowing that Donald Trump was likely going to request some date late in 2024 or 2025. Ultimately, what Donald Trump and his co-defendant Walty Nauta filed was this document saying that this is such a complex case, and especially given all of the complexities associated with the underlying claims and with the fact that there's a campaign that Donald Trump is, I guess, purportedly running, where he just spreads lies and disinformation, but calls it a presidential campaign for the Republican nomination. Granted, he is the front runner with the MAGA Republicans. Given the voluminous nature of the discovery here, given all of these issues, we should just talk about trial after the November 2024 election. Judge, do not set a trial date at all. And here, Special Counsel Jack Smith, with a scalpel, just dismantled each one of Donald Trump's arguments here. So let's go through it one by one. Here is Special Counsel Jack Smith, the government's reply in support of its motion for a continuance and proposed revised scheduling order. Jack Smith states, there is no basis in law or fact for proceeding in such an indeterminate and open-ended fashion, and defendants provide none. For the reasons discussed below and in the government's motion, the court should reset the trial date in this action for December 11th, 2023. The motion goes into the applicable legal principles, and it goes to explain that under the Speedy Trial Act, the manifest purpose is ensuring a speedy trial. It says that the defendants chide the government for seeking an expedited trial, but in doing so, they basically understand the Speedy Trial Act essentially backwards. It goes on to say that any deviation from the 70-day benchmark of the Speedy Trial Act must be justified, and to be sure, the act authorizes a court to exclude certain periods of delay, but because the act was designed with the public interest firmly in mind, in order to exclude such a delay, the district court must find that the ends of justice are served outweigh the best interest of the public and the defendant in a speedy trial. The public interest cannot be served, the act recognizes, if defendants may opt out of the act entirely, which the defendants, Trump and Walty Nauta, are effectively trying to do here. So the first thing that Donald Trump argues is that this raises very novel legal issues, that the interplay between the Presidential Records Act, or as Donald Trump says, the Sox case, the Clinton Sox case, makes this so complex, and they're going to file motions to dismiss. And Special Counsel Jack Smith just cuts through it right there and says, okay, as for the impact of the Presidential Records Act, which Trump keeps on talking about, on this prosecution, any argument that it mandates the dismissal of the indictment or forms a defense to the charges here borders on frivolous. The Presidential Records Act is not a criminal statute and in no way purports to address address the retention of national security information. The defendants are, of course, free to make whatever arguments they like for dismissal of the indictment, and the government will respond promptly, but they should not be permitted to gesture at a baseless legal argument, call it novel, and then claim that the court will require an indefinite continuation to resolve it. So let's just knock out that Presidential Records Act causing delay argument right there. Next, Trump argues that the voluminous nature of the discovery here warrants a continuance. And here, Special Counsel Jack Smith basically says, look, we promptly turned over all of the records. Yes, there's a lot of documents, but we've basically dummy-proofed this for Donald Trump. We provided a key. We showed all of the main documents that are at issue here. We outlined where you could find all of the documents. When we produced CCTV surveillance footage, we included where all of the main things happen on the footage, but free to look at the rest of the footage. In other words, we dummy-proofed.
Oh, hey, when did you get here? Let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner, Henson Shaving. Look, everyone knows how annoying cheap razors are. The cuts, the irritation, the frustration. And don't get me started with subscription razor services, the headaches that those can cause. That's why you gotta meet Henson Shaving. Henson Shaving is a family-owned aerospace parts manufacturer that has made parts for the ISS. That's the International Space Station and Mars rover, and now they're bringing precision engineering to your shaving experience. Razor blades, they're like diving boards. The longer the board, the more wobble, the more nicks, cuts, and scrapes. A bad shave, it isn't a blade problem. It's an extension problem. By using aerospace-grade CNC machines, Henson makes metal razors that extend just 0.0013 inches, which is less than the thickness of human hair. That means a secure and stable blade with a vibration-free shave. It gets better. The razor has built-in channels to evacuate hair and cream, which makes clogging virtually impossible. Seriously, Henson Shaving wants the best razor, not the best razor business. That means no plastic, no subscriptions, no proprietary blades, and no obsolescence. The Henson razor, it works with standard dual-edge blades to give you that old-school shave with the benefit of new-school tech. Once you own the Henson razor, it's only about $3 to $5 per year to replace the blades. My first shave with the Henson razor was incredibly refreshing. The design is sleek and the durability is top notch. The Henson razor is truly much better than your run-of-the-mill quote-unquote traditional razor brand. And the affordability factor is absolutely game-changing. No more wasting your money on expensive blades. With Henson Shaving, you get a year of blades for just $5. Okay, so here's what you have to do. It's time to say no to subscriptions and yes to a razor that'll last you a lifetime. Visit hensonshaving.com/Meidas to pick the razor for you and use code Meidas and you'll get 2 years worth of blades free with your razor. Just make sure to add them to your cart. That's 100 free blades when you head to hensonshaving.com/Meidas and use code Meidas. And now, back to the video.
Also, what's up with their inability to hire a legal team? Special Counsel Jack Smith says, defendants' alleged inability to use contract personnel to assist in unclassified document review is puzzling. I thought you were a billionaire. You're not hiring people who can help you look through the documents here so you can feign delay here. We gave you a map and a key to all of these documents. The fact that you don't want to hire people to help you go through these records is not our fault. We've done our best to help you go through this as well. And then you want to argue that, well, we haven't produced the classified documents yet. We've only produced the unclassified documents. Well, we've given you all this time for your lawyers to fill out these forms to get security clearance. And as of now, only 2 of your lawyers actually filled out this form. The judge has said, hurry up and get this done. Your lawyers are not filling out the form. So that's the only reason why you don't have the classified information yet. And also, the Classified Information Procedures Act does not justify any continuance here at all. It goes on to say here, defendants argue that an indefinite continuance is necessary because they lack the classified discovery, which I just addressed, and the procedures under SEPA are inherently complex. And Special Counsel Jack Smith is like, the need for SEPA proceedings is not a justification for a period of uncertain delay. The government's proposed SEPA schedule remains viable, even with the delay that has been caused not by us, but by defense counsel. The reason that there is delay so far is Walt Nauta couldn't find a lawyer. Donald Trump and Walt Nauta's lawyers are not filling out the forms on time. And then finally, Special Counsel Jack Smith cites certain cases as saying, look, these cases, these espionage cases, they're not new, they're not novel, they're not complex. These are cases that are tried frequently in under a year, and there's really no need to deviate from that in this situation. And it goes, finally, the demands of defendants' professional schedules, that all these lawyers are busy, do not provide a basis to delay this case. Many indicted defendants have demanding jobs that require a considerable amount of their time and energy or a significant amount of travel. The Speedy Trial Act contemplates no such factor as a basis for a continuance, and the court should not indulge it here. The defendants contend that their counsel's trial schedules make it nearly impossible to prepare for trial by December 2023, but nothing about defense counsel's trial schedule justifies the extraordinary continuance they seek, and in any event, it takes more than counsel's claim of crowded schedule to carry the burden or of justifying a continuance, since a court schedule, quote, should not be subordinated to the schedule of lawyers that appear before it. For all of these reasons, the court should reject defendant's invitation to defer consideration of a trial date and should set jury selection to begin December 11th, 2023. And here, Special Counsel Jack Smith is saying, you're not that important, Donald Trump. You're no longer the president. You are a private citizen. A lot of people have jobs that make them very, very busy, and that's not an excuse why you can't sit for trial, nor is the fact that your lawyers are very busy. Lots of lawyers get busy, and that's not a reason to delay this trial. This is going to be a big ruling, probably one of the biggest pretrial rulings for Judge Aileen Cannon. If ultimately she agrees to delay this trial indefinitely, I think we are then going to see some moves by Special Counsel Jack Smith, perhaps bringing another a superseding indictment or bringing an indictment against Trump and perhaps other co-conspirators in another federal district. We may see appellate proceedings taking place as well, perhaps challenges to Judge Aileen Cannon in the event she makes a ruling here that is completely out of step with the law. That's something that I think Jack Smith is waiting to see here. By the way, I think Jack Smith set that December date, but he set that date and is open to the judge setting a trial date in 2024. I think Jack Smith's angling for reading between the lines here between maybe February or March of 2024 and using December as a date. Trump says indefinitely, kind of compromise on a date in 2024. But we will see. This is going to be a big ruling by Judge Aileen Cannon. The issue is now fully briefed, so I think we'll get a ruling there fairly soon. And there's a big hearing that's going to be taking place now July 18th, a status conference on SEPA, the Classified Information Procedures Act. And at that hearing, I think we could potentially expect these discussions to take place. It's possible she makes a ruling before that, but big ruling coming up. This is fully briefed. We'll see what Judge Aileen Cannon does. But don't forget, Special Counsel Jack Smith continues with his criminal investigation into Trump's 2020 election interference. And we recently learned, for example, that even Jared Kushner went before the grand jury, and that grand jury seems to be wrapping up and soon to indict as well. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 1.5 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast. podcast, hit subscribe right now and have an excellent day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.